The Season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on the home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio. And I said this a little bit in the intro there. I mean, I would dare to say we could call it, as far as the Phantoms are concerned, we could call this weekend historic.
I mean, as far as the Fall Classic games have counted, obviously our best performance.
It's not even a comparison about that either. Yeah. There was no one had to be under 24-hour surveillance or anything after this weekend. It was good.
Yeah, nobody had to get put in a 5150 hold. Yeah, because I won't say who it was, but with about 5 minutes or about a few minutes left, I think after Youngstown tied the game late in the third on Saturday, I had received a text message from somebody that said, "When was the last time we swept at the Fall Classic?" I answered back, "We haven't." And then about 15 minutes later, I texted again, was like, "Scratch that, today." Yeah, I put something out on our Facebook page after that game. So for those of you who didn't get to see that, just pointing out a few things here. The game on Friday, the season opener for the Phantoms, them winning 5-0, that improved their record overall on team history and season openers. They are now 5-12. In the first game of the season, they are now 2-5 in their opening game at the Fall Classic. They tied for the most goals scored by the Phantoms in an opener with 5. That equals the openers in 2012 and 2020. Of course, the first shutout in a season opener in team history, which Dan, apparently you sent that text out to a few people.
What's that?
You texted me asking if we had shut anybody out in an opener before. And as I was getting ready to text you back, I heard Matt on the broadcast answering your question.
Oh, man, I wish I'd have known that. I didn't watch with the sound on. Yeah, I texted you and Lipper at the same time about that.
Not the only one of us to get called out on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring that up here in a minute. Of course, with the shutout, of course, the least amount of goals the Phantoms allowed in an opener. Before that, the record was 2. Back in 2010, the Phantoms winning that game 3-2 in overtime, and then 2023, which was a couple years ago with Tri-City, losing that game 2-1. So, like I said, Friday night was a big deal.
It was.
Yeah, and Tri-City is not the best team, obviously, in the league this year. At
so
least
far.
At the start, yeah. But the way the Phantoms played that, it was a thing of beauty.
I think talking with Andrew Goldman, the team president, last week, they talked about having those games at Prince Gate, trying to just get the team ready to play when the season starts, because they've always been notorious about having a slow start. And I think I read an article too. I think it was from Yeager, that he talked to Wardo, and Wardo said that they went back to basics instead of throwing a bunch of stuff at them like they always do. They just did basic stuff. And I think the Prince Gate games for the preseason and their basic approach this year really made a difference for the start of the year for the Phantoms, for sure. But
Cooper Simpson picking up the Phantoms' first goal of the season, which was, if you were listening to the broadcast, Matt brought up the fact that every year I put out a graphic updating that list of who scores the first goal for the Phantoms each year. I was sitting at my desk, my whole setup here. I was in the process of updating the graphic when I heard him say that on the broadcast.
And I was probably already texting you.
You had messaged me saying, update the graphic. I was working on that. Everything was going fine. And then when he said, if that isn't uploaded in the next if that isn't posted in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be disappointed.
He was not disappointed.
At that point, I had the graphic done. I just had to re-download it and get it posted. And he gave me a time frame and made me panic, even though I was perfectly in control of everything going on. I was still oh God. And started rushing for no reason.
Well, now I think we should update it, because what we didn't know at that time, it was going to be the game winning goal.
What a goal it was too.
I mean, made those defensemen look like pylons.
Yeah.
Just right through them.
And of course there's Rizzo winning the puck for his team in final.
Twice.
And that was the point I wanted to bring up. If you can go back and look at that on Flow Hockey or whatever, watch Ryan Rusinski on that shift. Because Cedar Rapids was on the breakout. Rusinski caused the turnover at center ice that got that zone entry for the Phantoms. And we saw Matusz Kucharczyk put on a couple dangles of his own, thought maybe, something was going to happen there. And then finally Cedar Rapids gets control of the puck. They try to clear it out, and Rusinski stole it at the blue line. So basically his second created turnover of that shift. And that was the turnover where he got the puck over to Simpson for Simpson to do what he did. So, yeah, I mean, Cooper Simpson, amazing goal. I'm not going to take anything away from him. But, Ryan Rusinski, real, lunch pail and hard hat effort on that shift to create all of that.
Yeah. And, Tri-City, their defensemen were just flat-footed, stunned. Jaws were on the ice more than their sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that really stood out to me in this game, the Friday game, how active the Phantom Sticks were.
Yeah.
Not even by like the typical, you always hear the word gritty, style of play and everything else like that. It was really the Phantom Sticks getting into passing lanes, one-on-one battles causing turnovers. They were giving Tri-City fits all night. Tri-City ended up with 28 shots on goal. I would dare to say maybe one or two of them was like a good chance. Not even like grade A, grade B. Everything else was just kind of throwing stuff at the net. That Phantom's defense, and especially their stick work, they caused a lot of problems for Tri-City.
Yeah, I think the stick detail. To your point, I think that every single thing Tri-City did was contested. They got nothing for free that game at all, and that really played into why they had so much success. I know the shot total in the game was 28-28, but I really think that came down to the fact that Tri-City had 6 power plays on the game.
Yeah.
But, all together, that was.
Well, there was one or two. I think they didn't even get shots on goal. So
right, yeah, the 6 penalties that concerns me a little bit because it seems to be a trend that the Phantoms always seem to have with that. But hey, they killed them all off though in the game.
They were 1 for 10 on the weekend, so or 9 for 10 on the weekend. So.
And of course, even with all that, not taking anything away from the effort from Tobias Treball. He was lights out in this game, and we kind of even brought up the point. Even some of the chances that looked like could have been, when you refer to those grade A scoring opportunities, his positioning was so good. He made those saves look average. And
other than maybe 2 times during the game, even when he made a mistake, the way he followed up on it, there was no panic, strictly business. He tracks the puck very, very well.
What a debut for Treball. And he was highly touted from the coaching staff and the GMs when they got him in the Phase 2 draft this year, and he showed why. So, that was a 5-0 win for the Phantoms. So, moving on to the game on Saturday, a 4-3 win in a shootout. This was really a tale of 2 games. The first game was the first 8 minutes of the first period. The second game was everything from there to the shootout.
You're absolutely right. For the most part, it wasn't pretty, but end of the day, it's still 2 points. Yeah, we talked about like last episode about we don't really have a scouting report for any team. Kind of lied about that because any team that's coached by Mark Carlson, you're going to get hard physical play, hard tough nose, everything. And that's what Cedar Rapids did. They just kind of scratched and clawed their way back into the game, and Phantoms took their foot off the gas. Luckily, they didn't bite them in the butt, but it kind of stinks to give a point up to Cedar Rapids in that game. But at the end of the day, you walk away with 2. So, and I'd like to point out, Coach Carlson is 1 game away from tying the all-time wins in the USHL. I think PK O'Hanley still holds that. I am just so glad to see that we weren't the team that he got that on. First 8 minutes, just everything going the Phantoms' way. They go up, on a 2-0 lead. Then you get the penalties start coming in. We can argue from here to eternity whether some of them were legitimate or not, if things that should have been called weren't called and everything else. It basically what it did, we're talking about, the depth that just the top 2 lines, the amount of depth on the top 2 lines for the Phantoms. Mm-hmm. Just with the penalty killing and everything else, how it just kind of neutralized everyone. Cooper Simpson, who ended up, in his Phantoms debut on Friday with a 4-point game, a goal and 3 assists in his debut. And just going back to 1 point for Friday, it was nice to see one of those revenge games go in our favor. Yeah.
Since I'm coming into this, yeah, it's typically somebody we trade away that comes back. The Cole Birches of the world, the Hunter Ramoses of the world. These trades just coming back and biting us in these games. It was nice to see that go the other way with what Cooper Simpson did to Tri-City. So, I mean, averaging 4 points against Tri-City, we have 4 more games against them this season. So hopefully he can continue that trend for those 4 games.
Yeah, anything less than 4 is a disappointment, in my opinion.
But yeah, coming back to Saturday, once it started getting into the penalties and everything else, and a lot of time on the penalty kill and everything else, kind of neutralized the Cooper Simpsons and the Rusinskis and the Hextalls and.
Well, not even the penalties. I think overall discipline, a buzzword you could go with. We were just undisciplined in so many areas, and I'd rather see that early in the season and it get corrected than start to happen later in the season.
Yeah. I think the adage is you either win or you learn. And I think this is a rare example of the fans walking away with a win and they learn a lot about themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, other than the win, of course, there were some high points with the game on Saturday. Malachi McKinnon picking up his first 2 goals of his USHL career on 2 very excellent shots. I don't know. Maybe there's something to him having to wear the fishbowl after getting his teeth knocked out on Friday.
I was gonna say, does he keep it in once they fix it? Does he just ride it out now?
I mean, you know what? Even with the teeth all chipped up, still has $1 million smile though.
Well, when you score 2 goals, you can flash that.
The goaltender of record, the game on Saturday, making his USHL debut, Vladimir Nikitin, had a couple little interesting points in this game. First of all, he assisted on the Malachi McKinnon's second goal.
Yeah.
So 8 minutes and 34 seconds into his USHL career, he gets his first USHL point.
I'm not sure that that's a league record, but I'd be willing to bet it's a Phantoms record.
For a goal, for a goaltender.
Yeah. And I don't think Matt probably has that on his
no, I don't think he does. And then, of course, probably one of the crazier shootout saves we have ever seen. Just coming out to meet who was the shooter in that?
Was it Bosco or
David Bosco gets in between the hash marks and Nikitin just threw his body at him. just sprawled out, threw his body at him. Bosco did manage to get the puck in the net, but unlike Zombieland, double tap is not a good thing. In a shootout, it was ruled as a double touch, double hit, whatever you want to call it.
Immediately rolled.
So yeah, that obviously was not a goal, and Phantoms pick up the win in the shootout 4-3. It's encouraging this early on that you have a game like this, which could have, everything was going against the Phantoms. They were able to hang in there, and they were able to get a win out of this. I mean, for me, that's, as far as the team is concerned, for me, I feel like that's a great learning moment this early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, early in the season, these things usually go against us. We've seen that time and again. And the fact that we pulled out the win, and I mean, to give the team credit, I mean, those last few minutes of the game, when they were down a point, you could see the desperation.
Mm-hmm.
So, they wanted to get at least that equalizer and then won it in a shootout. So,
yep. And kudos there to Sean Miller picking up his first USHL goal. They're tying the game in the third period with great shot with only about 3 minutes left from an excellent pass from Matty Budkowski. Just excellent work all around there on that goal. All right. So for the first time this season, it is time for the Dump and Chase podcast 3 stars of the week. So kicking it off with a 3rd star.
Our 3rd star is Malachi McKinnon. He had 2 goals and 1 assist on the weekend, and he also had 2 chipped teeth.
Not bad for a kid that young.
I think 3 tip. I think it's like the assist rule: 3 chipped teeth equal a goal.
Yeah. 2nd star of the week, Tobias Treball, 28 saves, shutout in his USHL debut.
And the 1st star of the week, of course, is Cooper Simpson. 1 goal, 3 assists in his Phantoms debut on Friday against his former team. So that will do it for 3 stars and the weekend recap. Our second fantasy draft with voice of the Phantoms and friend of the show, Matt Lipsack, in this week's edition of Phantom Files is coming up after a short break. So keep it here with the Season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on Western Reserve Radio.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, we'll figure it out."
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back with the Season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on the broadcast home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio. So for this week's edition of Phantom Files, we are diving into round 2 of our Phantoms all-time fantasy draft. Now, the first time we did this, there was a glaring omission. So what better time than now to correct this? So with that, we welcome back to the show the man who is entering his 10th season as the lead broadcaster for the Youngstown Phantoms. And at this point, let's face it, our unofficial 4th member. Matt Lipsack, I feel like I haven't seen you in almost 24 hours.
I mean, as I checked the clock, it is 9:16. I think it's probably actually been about 23 hours, 45 minutes.
Somewhere around
in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you can see the game clock in the background when the shootout ended. So I think it was around 9:24, something like that. So yeah,
we're pretty close to that. So not only did you call the 2 Phantoms games this past weekend, you were kind of the broadcaster for hire for the USHL. You got a couple more games now. Do you count that towards your official total, or are you only
counting? Absolutely. It's all, it's a USHL broadcast. So my number is USHL games. So I include preseason in that and any other USHL broadcasts that I have done. So I did a game, I think it was Green Bay and Des Moines a couple of fall classics ago. So that one's in there. And then I've tacked on these 2. I did Cedar Rapids and Des Moines before the Phantoms game on Friday. And then today I did the Madison and Fargo game.
So yeah, you let me know pretty quickly last season when we did the fantasy draft, your feelings about you not being involved in it.
I wasn't happy, Sam. I was not happy at all. I was a little heartbroken. I will not.
So I mean, if we're gonna do the season premiere, and I don't think we've ever had you on one of the season premiere episodes before, so I think this is your first time.
I don't think so. No. Yeah.
Well, you haven't been team captain, so that's part of it as well.
I haven't been team captain. I'm not the team president. I am not but a humble broadcaster trying to impart my limited knowledge of hockey to the unwashed masses.
All right. So the way we're going to do this, the big change from the last time we did this, we are going to be doing this as a serpentine draft. So the draft order is going to be Dan starting out, Dan with the first pick, followed by Matt, followed by me, followed by Justin, and then we will go in reverse order for the next round, and so on and so forth for 6 rounds. So with that, unless anybody else has anything to throw in, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm expecting good things from you, Matt. Just let you know.
I'm gonna try probably avoid the deep cuts since we're only going with one line of skaters each. So we'll see how this goes.
All right. So Dan, you've got the first pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach here. I'm gonna take Kyle Connor first overall.
Everyone else's first one goes off the board.
I think you did. I think you did the same thing last time.
Yeah, there's only two picks for me here, but
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Kyle Connor, it was going to be Jacob Fowler. So
that's it.
Jacob Fowler.
I'll see. Now you guys are getting ahead of me. All right. So Matt, you got Fowler.
Yep. We're going to build from the net out here.
All right. All right. So my first overall pick, this is the one I lost out on last time. I'm taking Brett Murray.
It was great to see Brett this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Got to see him tangled up with Chase Patilla there a couple times. I will stop this for 1 second just to point out Matt got great delight out of this when you were watching Sebastian Aho trying to defend Brett Murray.
Poor Sebastian Aho. I mean, what is he? Is he 5'11"?
Next to Brett, it was hard to say.
Although Brett's instructions had to be very clear from the Penguins coaching staff. You plant that backside at the edge of the blue paint and don't you go too far from it.
If that was the case, he followed it religiously. All right, Justin, your first round pick.
Ooh, okay. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to go with Andrew Strethman.
Offense for the blue line, never a bad choice.
Mm-hmm. All right, Justin, and you get the first pick in round 2.
I wasn't expecting the serpentine thing, so that gets this more interesting. You know what? I'm going to go with one of my picks from last time, Ryan Lundberg. Stanley Cup champion, Ryan Lundberg.
My second round pick, I am going to say, you know what? I'm going to go get my goalie now while he's available. I'm going to get Prosvetov. All right, so that brings us back to Matt.
Well, continuing to build from the net out, we're going to take somebody else that we saw this weekend. I'm going with Chase Patilla.
Had him on my list, and now he's gone.
I think we're going to get a big man for net front presence here. We're going to take Chancer, Shayla Chance.
Honestly, Matt, I'm kind of surprised that wasn't where you went.
That was he was going to be my next pick.
And ready for the next one, Sam?
Yep.
We're going to go with Scott Mayfield.
Yep, had him at the top of my defenseman list. All right, Matt, and you're up.
I'm just, taking names off the list over here. I think for my center, I'm going to go with Mike Regish.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Like that pick. Okay, let's see. I think I can afford to go with another forward here. I'm going to go with Adam Ingram.
It's a good pick there.
It's a good pick.
And Justin, we're back to you.
Oh, Georgi Merkulov.
Fan favorite there.
All right, made Andrew very happy with that pick. All right, so the first pick of round 4, Justin, that is back to you.
I'm going to need a goalie, and I'm going to surprise you all on this. I'm going to take Ivan Kolbakov.
You're not taking Sean Romeo?
I took him last time, and I thought I just needed a little bit of energy in the crease.
I didn't even put Romeo on my list because I assumed you're going to take him, Justin.
Well, you could add him now real quick.
All right, I need to get a defenseman here.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah.
Dun. Gee, I wonder who.
Come on, Sam. Come on.
All right,
say
fine.
the name.
All right, fine.
Say the name.
I'm taking Trey Taylor.
Yep.
I am shocked.
I was, last time these guys were really polite and didn't pick him because they knew at some point I was going to.
That's because we wanted to invite him back for the next episode.
There you go. Matt, you were up.
I'm going to take another winger, and I guess my first winger, I took a centerman. I'm going to take Trevor Kuntar.
American Beauty.
Great hair.
Let's go.
Great hair.
How is Trevor doing? Have you got to talk to him recently?
I chatted with him a little bit over the weekend. You know, he's up in Buffalo or Rochester in that area getting ready for camp. I think his deal was AHL only, so he might just be waiting for Rochester to start camp.
All right, Dan, last pick in round 4.
I'm gonna round out my at right wing here. I'm gonna go for a goal scorer, Will Whitelaw.
Okay. And
then I'm gonna save my goalie for last because unless you guys want to take a second goalie for their spot, but I'm gonna go with an offensive D man here. I'm gonna go Luke Osborne.
All right, Matt, you are on the board.
Give me Aiden Gallagher.
You can have him. Not meaning that in any spiteful way or anything like that.
It's great to see Aiden over the weekend as well.
Okay, so for my pick in round 5, Lord, what do I got here? Let's see. Goalie, I got 2 forwards, 1 defenseman, and a goaltender. So I need forward and defenseman. I'm probably going to have to go defenseman just because my list is getting a little thin. I'm going to go with Jake Gingell. So that leaves last pick of the 5th round, Justin.
I guess I'm going to round my defenseman out and go with Tomas Macho.
Like that pick.
All right, and starting the final round, round 6. Justin, what do you got?
Well, I'm down to my forwards, and out of Kiefer Sherwood, Jack Malone, Nathan Walker, Cam Morrison, Sam Annis, and Charlie Serrato, I'm going to go with Kiefer Sherwood. You knew that was coming.
There's
Absolutely.
a shock.
Not shocked in the least.
I was surprised you kept talking after you said his name the first time.
Yeah.
I just figured, whatever category you're picking last and let out who your picks were.
All right, so my last pick, I need a forward. Wait a minute. Is this person seriously still on the board? Oh, happy day. All right, for my final pick, I am taking Jack Malone.
It's fair. It's fair.
He was next on my list if Sherwood was out.
I'm looking at his name on my list, and I didn't mark anything next to it, and I'm like, no, there's no way somebody hasn't picked him yet. Matt, your final pick in round 6.
All right, so I've got Kuntar to score my goals. I've got Regish to pass the puck. I need someone to play a little bit of grit, a little bit of grind, and a whole lot of angry. Give me Joey Abate.
There you go.
Fair. Whole lot of angry.
Little wrecking ball.
He'll score you some goals too, just by bowling his way to the net.
All right, Dan, and you've got the final pick here.
Now we're going to round out the team with the brick wall in the back. Going back to the 15-16 season, I think. I'm going to go with Ryan Bednard. The big man.
He was my 4th goalie, yeah.
Yep.
4th on a lot of the Phantom career goaltender lists behind Kyler, Prozatev, Kulikov.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Dan, your picks, you have Kyle Connor, Shane LaChance, Scotty Mayfield, Will Whitelaw, Luke Osborne, and Ryan Bednard.
I like that.
Justin, for your picks, Andrew Strathman, Ryan Lomberg, Georgi Merkulov, Ivan Kolvikov, Tomasz Machu, and Kiefer Sherwood. Matt, you went with Jacob Fowler, Chase Patilla, Michael Regish, Trevor Kuntar, Aiden Gallagher, and Joey Abate. And I finished out with Brett Murray, Ivan Prosbatev, Adam Ingram, Trey Taylor, Jake Gingell, and Jack Malone. Yeah, you do this as 4 people. It really evens things out.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a lot more interesting.
All right.
So
go
I
ahead.
think I like my chances against Justin's team, but Dan, I think you're kind of stacked there, bud.
Scoring goals, I don't know if I'm going to keep him out, but yeah.
Hey, you saw that Benzie back there between the pipes.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, as we did last year, we will put this out to the masses. I'll put some kind of posts out with these teams on there, and I'll let the people decide. So with that, Matt, as always, Appreciate having you on. Hopefully you feel a lot better this time around. You got to be involved in this.
I do.
Does this make up for the last time?
A little bit. I mean, maybe like 80%.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'll take it. All right. So again, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Great job over the weekend and looking forward to another season, bud.
Thank you guys. Can't wait to get back to Covelli on October the 10th and, do what we do and just, get back into the flow of things.
Alrighty, so we're going to step aside for a quick break. The fan Q&A and the weekend preview is coming up with the season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on Western Reserve Radio.
This is Voice of the Phantoms and friend of the show, Matt Lipsack, and you're listening to the Dump and Chase podcast on Western Reserve Radio.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Someone's got to set the tone out there, boys. Someone's got to set it.
The station that sets the tone for Youngstown Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio. WIDB, The Scourge.
This is the season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on the home of Phantoms hockey, Western Reserve Radio. So starting off here, bringing it back for this year, ended up being very successful last year. We were very happy, and I guess very surprised, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've not gotten a whole lot of, useful feedback, and this has been a godsend.
Yeah. So bringing it back again this year, the fan Q&A. So we're just going to start right off here. No name attached to this one. After 200 episodes, what would you go back and tell yourselves before the first episode? Adjust for Dan, which I think is my favorite part of that question.
Want to let Dan go first?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, before that, I thought that Sam wrote that at the very end. I didn't realize that came into the question.
No, that was part of the question. I did not add that.
For me, it's for sure. Don't worry about saying something stupid because you're guaranteed to say many things stupid each episode.
Can't be anything stupider than we've already said.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, what would you go back and tell yourself?
I was going to say, just never count yourself out. Stick through it. I mean, we've gone through high points. We've gone through low points.
Low points.
Real low points. Yeah.
Low enough that we consider just calling the whole thing off because, wow.
I mean, I've never actually said that in my head, but that has always been there in some of those points. What I've learned from that is immeasurable.
If I could go back, I would tell myself, don't try so hard.
Yeah. I agree with that one.
Especially in the early days, we were just in this mentality of like nonstop throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick. And like more often than not, it bombed out. And it was like we were just so desperate to come up with content that we weren't like vetting our ideas.
But we learned from the things that worked.
And it took a little while. And I think we finally hit a groove where we settled down.
Yeah.
And just kind of like kept things simple, kept things basic. And it was like that when it was all said and done, like that is what finally started working for us.
And we realized that, sometimes things work, then they don't work. And at some point you have to change it.
Yeah, that was another part of it. It's when something is working and then it stops working, cut bait.
Yeah.
And I think early on, some of that stuff we drug on for too long, that looking back on it now, we would have been better off to just say, all right, we need to change this up. This isn't working anymore. But yeah, it's just, we were throwing so much at the wall, like trying to come up with bits, trying to come up with, we were treating this like it had to be a variety show. You know what I mean? And it was like vaudeville. We just had to do so many different things because we thought, if we just, if everything settles down and we just talk about the games and this and that, it's going to be boring and nobody's listening. And it's like, well, at that point, nobody was listening anyways.
I'm not Dick Cavett.
So, and it's, I think once we settle down, once we slow things down a little bit, made it less about, I hate to say this, made it less about like forcing ourselves to try to be entertaining and just kind of let things happen naturally. I think once we reach that point is when we finally hit a groove or where we are now, which is moderately better than where we were back then.
At least in our minds.
Yeah. The second question, there was no name attached to this, but there was a drum emoji. So draw your own conclusions. What is the biggest surprise to you? And then in parentheses, non-Phantom related to come out of the Fall Classic?
I'll start here. I think for me, there's always been a lot of parity in the league, and like sometimes there's outliers like Omaha last year, which were just historically terrible. I think this year is going to have even less parity. I think there's some really good teams this year, and I'm surprised at how many teams I think don't have the same skill level that some of these top teams have. I don't know what they're going to do to try to remedy that situation as the year goes on, but I was surprised at disparaging skill level from some of the top teams I saw as compared to some of the bottom teams I saw.
I'm going to say, just the 2 games I was there, and I used to spend the whole weekend there. I guess I can't afford to do that now with my schedule and my body. But the games I was there, I noticed like there's always been, a core contingent of fans from every team, even the Western Conference teams. But this year there were like a lot more, I think, fans from the other teams there that made the trip. I don't know what to attribute that to, but I noticed it was a little bit noisier for more than just the Phantoms.
I kind of feel like a couple years from now, the Fall Classic is going to be like me pushing you around in a wheelchair.
While you're still chasing Ian Moran around.
Yeah. Well, I won't be. No, Justin will just be sitting like in the middle of the lobby in the wheelchair by himself while I'm chasing. I'm not going to be like pushing Justin while I'm chasing. That'll just slow me down.
Hey, don't leave me here.
I crack the windows. It's okay. He's fine. For me, and I know it's only, the first couple games of the season. There's still 60 more games to go for everyone. For some odd reason, the Western Conference always shows out really well at the Fall Classic. It was not the case this year. And not only was not the case, it was vastly different from the way it's been in the past. Just to throw a couple numbers out there, like overall at the Fall Classic, the Western Conference was 5-9-2. They had overall the conference, their goal differential was -27. And only Fargo and Des Moines came out of the Western Conference this weekend with a plus in the goal differential, and they were both +2. In comparison, the Eastern Conference, because all of these games except for 2 were cross-conference games. Okay, so now that I've edited out this break to actually that we took here so I could look up this information. Yeah, the only two games that were not cross-conference the entire weekend was Saturday night with Youngstown and Cedar Rapids and Des Moines and Tri-City. So this was essentially save for those two, entirely Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. But yeah, in comparison, the Eastern Conference at the Fall Classic was 11-2-3 with a plus 27 goal differential. And the only team in the Eastern Conference to come out with a negative goal differential was Green Bay with a -2. The Eastern Conference just absolutely dominated the Fall Classic this year, which is honestly not really something we're used to seeing for some strange reason. All right. So the final question, this comes from Jerry with a G. Do you have any predictions on what conference will win the Clark Cup?
I mean, you pointed out the stat there at the beginning of the season. Yeah, no predictions.
No. I mean, for one, it's basically a 50-50 choice. But yeah, we're still way too early in the season for that. Dan, you're doing like the thinky, strokey beard. like you're in deep thought right now.
I'll be honest. I mean, it doesn't mean anything because winning games at the Fall Classic doesn't mean you're going to win the whole thing. But I really think Dubuque, Muskegon, and Youngstown so far have the most talented rosters in the league, and they're all three from the Eastern Conference. And Muskegon didn't even have I believe, their two best players playing this weekend, Tynan Lawrence and Noringer.
Phantoms had a lot of scratches.
A ton of scratches.
A ton of scratches, yeah. We haven't seen a lot of players on this roster yet.
Yep.
I don't know who you're going to move out. Like I said before, this team's talented. I don't know who you're going to move out of the starting lineup to get these other players in.
Okay, so that will do it for the Q&A. Thank you, everybody, for getting your questions in. Really looking forward to, another season of this. Of course, every week before we record, I'll put the posts out on social media. The link to ask questions will be pinned at the top of the Dump and Chase podcast Facebook page. So at any point during the week, you don't have to wait for me to put a post out. So moving on here real quick to finish this segment out, looking at the upcoming weekend, the Phantoms, this is the start of a 4-game road trip. These first 2 games taking place up in Plymouth with the National Team Development Program under 18 squad. The U18s this past weekend at the Fall Classic, the first game they played, they lost 1-0 to Fargo in overtime. And I remember we kept looking in on that game.
Or trying to.
Or trying to, but kept trying to take a peek at the scoreboard. And it was just 0-0, 0-0, 0-0 every time we looked. Yeah, it was just, there was no score throughout that whole thing. I believe Fargo got that overtime goal with 30 seconds left in the overtime period. So they almost made it to a shootout. Tied at 0. And then their game on Sunday beating Lincoln 7-3. So they get a split at the Fall Classic. So a puck drop, the game's this Friday and Saturday. The puck drops both nights are at 7 p.m. The games are not available on Flow Hockey. They are available on usahockeytv.com. You can watch these games for free. There is a sign up required, though. All these names go to Pete Krupski, and you may get shouted out during the broadcast.
I know one person's going to for sure get shouted out.
I do too. So with that, we're going to step aside one more time, and we'll wrap up this episode on the other side of the break. So keep it here one more time with the Season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast on Western Reserve Radio.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
We're back, and that will do it for the Season 8 premiere of the Dump and Chase podcast. A massive thanks to Matt Lipsack for spending some time with us and helping us kick off the season. And as always, a big thanks to all of you for tuning in, whether it's your first time or for a long time. So next week, we will be recapping the Phantoms' first true road trip of the season with the 2 games in Plymouth, Michigan, as well as looking to head to 2 more games in Michigan with the defending Clark Cup champion Muskegon Lumberjacks. So you can hear this show every Thursday at 5 p.m. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Western Reserve Radio. You can find us streaming on the Phantoms Facebook page, as well as the new iMedia One Network app available on Apple and Android, where you can also catch game radio broadcasts for the high school football games of the week and every Phantoms home game. You can also find this show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram for show and team updates throughout the week. So, to my co-hosts, Dan Conley and Justin Irwin, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I feel like I, yet again, have the best team in the draft, but we'll see what the fans have to say about it.
I mean, I guess my final thoughts are I'm just glad to be getting back to hockey. God, these next 2 weeks are going to be hard.
Yeah. they give it to us, and then it's taken away for another 2 weekends. Yeah.
Until I can get back to my comfortable seats at the Covelli.
Are you saying the seats at the Fall Classic were not comfortable?
I am saying that explicitly.
After sitting through those games, I'm thinking you still like standing on my neck would have been more comfortable than having to sit there. All right. So, as always, hockey is a sport played on ice with sticks and a puck, and our podcast is a thing you just listen to. See ya.
I want to know if you guys are more sore than the players after this weekend.
Probably. We're old.
Good thing it sucks getting old. Good thing you only have to do it one time.
I feel really sad after you said that. Wow.
Welcome to the Gritty City. Ready to go. Welcome to the Gritty City. Gritty City. It's Phantom's time tonight. We're gonna break it down, and do this damn thing right. It's the Dump and Chase podcast. Let's go. It's the Dump and Chase podcast.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Bring an energetic approach to sports betting to keep you entertained while sweating your bets on the Sports Gambling Podcast live at VSiN.
There is something to the idea of the smart teams might be zagging. You see all the best offenses in the National Football League have a fullback.
If you like defense, if you like football, how can you not be okay with two high safeties?
Join Sean and Ryan every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on the Sports Gambling Podcast live at VSiN, right here on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158. In this hour, more on tonight's Major League Baseball card, the Thursday night football game, and we'll connect here shortly with Mad Dog Russo, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, coming up here in a minute. I know that he's going to want to rant, obviously, about these teams free-falling in Major League Baseball. Dodgers about to clinch.
Yeah, 4 outs away. They would win the division for the 12th time in the last 13 years.